Everyone, good day. It's nice to have you to join the online study group. And right now you are watching a video. It's a review of the 9 years anniversary that we conduct on March 16th. So we appreciate that there were so many lectures that give us their very wonderful sharing. So this is another speaker that you can see from the screen. It's a step from our headquarters, and they enjoying to be online study group and give us their wonderful sharing. And then this is another volunteer from Taipei, and he said that online study group, the teamwork was great. And this is a volunteer from Canada. She enjoyed to be part of the online study group, and then she is very proud of be part of the online study group. So happy birthday to online study group. And this is a volunteer from American. She is one of the team members from the kitchen phrase team. And she learned so much from the online study group. So happy birthday to the online study group. And then those are the volunteers from Australia, the interpretation team. And she said that the online studying group, she can learn very so much in Python Dharma lineage, and to learn so much Dharma teaching from the online study group. And this is the volunteer from Australia that even she was sick earlier, but she received so much love from Tzu Chi. And after she got a recovery, she dedicated herself to doing Tzu Chi work. She also invited her daughter to do the contribution. Thank you. Thank you for being the Tzu Chi family. And I'm very happy. So happy birthday to online study group. So thank you very much. And so this is the online study group. We always encourage each other to talk about Tzu Chi, and we read Dharma teaching mindfully, and we believe everyone has the potential, and we uphold our initial aspiration. So no matter where you are, please give us your smile. And the earlier that you watch a review video, thank you for those volunteer give us this good video. It's not easy because it's three hours, and they do the very good summary. And in the beginning, I would like to invite everyone to watch this very good program. So every Sunday, we will have a very good drama, Japanese drama. It's a film festival at the Dawei TV station. So it's a story about the two families who was faced with the dilemma of retaining the wrong children they have raised over 6 years, or swap them back to the right family. It's a very good movie. So if you mix the first the run, you can see the rerun at night. And then you can see another video. It's a promotion of the importance of being a vegetarian. So be a better self. And it's we should treat all the sentient beings equal. So Please tell your children that being a vegetarian is important. Thank you for the, although it's only 30 seconds. And then so another video is talking about the global warming issue. It was saying that that the rainforest is like the lung of our Earth. They produce 20% of the oxygen to us. So please do not cut down the tree, but protect the rainforest to save the Earth. So it's a sad story about the Earth. So through being a vegetarian, that we can make a better world, we can make a better Earth. So like the Jing said, every reason, if the society needs you, you must quickly make your contribution. And every time in the beginning, we have to remind ourselves that the Master Zheng Yin's ideal talents are those who are humble but not arrogant, and self-esteem, and cultivated with virtue. And we love people unselfishly, and be open-minded, and control over our temper. And we focus on the big things, and we show our good manners on the speech and the actions. And with those characters, we will be Master Zheng Yin's ideal talents. So hopefully everyone can be Master Zheng Yin's ideal talent. So please put your hands in front of your chest and say, Master Zheng Yin, please be relieved. We will be your ideal talents. And then you can see a Master Zheng Yin give her feedback, give her thumbs up. So please show the same gestures to the one sitting next to you and say, thank you for accompanying me to join the online study group. You are great. So this week, so Master Zheng Yin on April 25th, Master Zheng Yin encouraged us that in order to spread the Dharma teaching, it's better to have more different language doing the interpretation. And except of the interpretation, we also invite many people to doing the written translation. And Master Zheng Yin is always very kind, and she said that actually through the written translation or through the interpretation, actually it gives us an opportunity to learn the Dharma teaching. So today is the first week of the month. So we will have English, Cantonese, and Cambodian, Malay, and we will have Taiwanese interpretation. And right now, the Cantonese interpretation from Malaysia, actually they were doing the test. I was very surprised that those volunteers from Malaysia that can speak Taiwanese. So grateful. And right now we have 10 different language of interpretation. And we have more than 10 different language in the written translation. So this week is the term for Kaohsiung interpretation team to do the translation. Thank you for those volunteers. And we welcome Sandy to join us too. I think she was in the room to doing the interpretation too. So this is the volunteers from different countries. They're doing the Cantonese interpretation. And then this screen, you can see the volunteers from Cambodia doing the Cambodian language. And then this is the volunteers from Malaysia and from Australia. They're doing the Malay. Thank you for everyone's dedication. At the same time, most of them are from Malaysia, some of them from Indonesia, from Australia. And some of them not only doing the Malay interpretation, but they also doing the Cantonese and the English interpretation. They are so great. And then you can see the feedback from the team members, like Sister Ye Li. And she said that in the Tzu Chi family, actually we do the good things to benefit others, but actually it also benefit ourselves. And she said that due to our difference between Australia and Taiwan, every time she can only use a cell phone to get online study group because her kids needed to use the computer or the iPad doing the homework. So she have to wait until after they went to school. And because of the hour difference, she had to sacrifice her lunch to stay with the online study group. And she said that it is a very big challenge for her to doing the Cantonese interpretation. But after practice, she is getting more familiar. And then we have a feedback from Australia, Li Huimiao. And then we can see the feedback from Xue Yu. She is also doing the interpretation. And many people, they may have a familiar with Xue Yu because she doing the interpretation, also doing the guiding the reading. She said that she was very touched about the technical team contribution because their workplace was at the corner of the stair, from one table, one chair, one person with one computer. And nowadays, because we have more than 10 different languages doing the interpretation, all the equipment and the team members have moved to second floor to a big space. It also means the capabilities and the strengths of the online study group had moved up to the next level. And as she recalled her memory that one time the CEO Lin Biyu was here, she gave us a very good sharing. She talked about we started from nothing. We started from small to big, and we started from little to many. And then feedback from Afin Yumei from Malaysia, who is doing English, Cantonese, Malay interpretation. Her topic is pushing our own limits, and then we will find dimension. She said she was very nervous when she did the English interpretation in the first place because many participants on this team does not read, write, and speak in Chinese. So she asked help from her niece to teach him how to use the computer and to improve her Chinese language. And she always remembered, and she was inspired by the slogan, you don't need to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. So everything she's looking forward every Wednesday to get an online study group and to receive the many positive feedbacks. So after a while, she was surprised that actually she learned and how to read and speak in Chinese. So not only doing the interpretation, she also can do the written translation. So she cherished the unique affinity with the online study group and wish there will be many more of the 9 years anniversary to come. So we invite everyone to come to join us. So everyone can be talented. And I would take the short time to introduce our team work. This is our teamwork. So many volunteers and brothers. Thank you for their dedication. So you can, from every week, you can see a different person at the side to provide the service. And you can see the poster is that the person with passion are very happy because they can always enjoy by doing. And even we have a big problem, but we can always solve the problem because we have the passion. So last week we received totally 189 messages, and then passed for resharing 115 times. So you are welcome to please to transfer all the message and to share more people. So this is the teamwork. This is the feedback on the teamwork. So we have the volunteers from mainland China to give us their positive feedback. So this is the feedback on the volunteer Zheng Sihui, who is our CEO in headquarters of United Nations. And Jing says that it's great for Tzu Hui to represent Tzu Chi to join United Nations meeting to spread the good seed and let many more to understand about the Tzu Chi, especially recently the vegetarian promotion. And we have the feedback from Li and Li. It's from mainland China. And it's a very good platform that we can learn so much positive feedback. And now this is the guiding, the reading, and the feedback. So many feedbacks because Cai Bijian's presentation, the topic was talking about the remembrance of Master Tzu. Many participants recall their memories about Tzu's dedication, and many have tears in their eyes. And we always receive heartwarming welcome from Master Tzu if they come back to Jingse Ebo. And Tzu Chi always took good care of them and brought so much warmth to people. And the volunteer from mainland China recalled the memory. She said that last time when she was in Jingse Ebo, Master Tzu always give them kind words and treat them so well. And because of the time, I can't read every feedback one by one. And this is the feedback on the sharing from the producer of the interview department at the Dawei TV station, who sharing very touching story about the international relief and brought us to many countries. And from his sharing and learn the sufferings and let us realize how lucky we are. And Bijian says that Lin Guoxing is so talented. And hopefully to inspire more people to join Tzu Chi. And now you can see the feedback on the Hong Mingzhu and Hong Yixiong's sharing, and many people were inspired. Hong Yixiong was sharing about the bone marrow story, bone marrow donation story. She said that her story was very touching because when she was diagnosed with leukemia, she expressed her gratitude, love, and goodbye to her parents. It's very heartbreaking. And then we have the feedback on the sharing from Li Jian, Zheng Yi, and volunteer Yu Ting. Promote the Jingsi Everything into the campus is always remarkable. So thank you for everyone to give us the good message. And we have a message from Canada, from America, from mainland China, and the different city from Taiwan. So give them big hands. So even it's a very short message, it's very encouraging to our team members. And thank you for Effing's message on the YouTube in English. And she said that the online study group is always give us an opportunity to form good affinities with everyone. So it's a very good platform. So even we were not on the Jingsi hall, but we still can feel the same energies. And she also give the feedback on the Deborah's sharing, because she followed the Master Zhen and always spread the love. And every topic that she mentions always with so much passion, so much compassion and kindness. Even she was very busy, but she did everything in detail and in details. And now you can see that we have the feedback from the YouTube, the message. And like someone says, learning is a way to improve our knowledge that give us the lessons and the wisdom in life. So they feel very grateful to teacher Mei and the team make them so give them so much good energies. So no matter where you are, please give us the feedback. And as usual, you can see that those are very good pictures from the volunteer in Malaysia. So please give her a big hand. Thank you. And now we're going to call out to Jordan.
So now we are going to Jordan, and soon we will contact with our Shuhua volunteer, Mr. Shuhua, Chen Qiuhua. Okay, you see from this video, it's from Jordan. Our volunteer, Mr. Chen Qiuhua, they donate a library to local school. You can see from this video, students, they are very happy to receive this library. And they say, Mr. Zheng, we love you. Now we are going to contact with our volunteer, Miss Lai Huaxiu. Before we contact with her, we can see from this video, you see these, they are our Tzu Chi volunteers. They are staying in Jordan, and they are giving the supplies to local people, those people who are in need. And our volunteer, he says, we give you the soap so you can wash your hands clearly, and you have to sing a happy birthday song for 20 seconds while you're washing your hands with this soap, so it's clear enough after you finish the song. And this information is very important during the great pandemic. Okay, let's give them a big hand. They are so clever.
人文真善美就已经出现了哈，要赶快去做任何的一个记录哈。那难得他在这个地方呢，
So we can have a look those people who they are standing in line, and you see from this video that our documentary volunteers they follow this team to give the supplies to people in need. And our volunteer, Miss Lai Huaxiu, she's telling us what's the situation for local Bedouin people in Jordan. Since they are refugees, actually they are city fringe. So the students there, children there, they even have the chance to go to school. They are getting bullied from local students, so they refuse to go to school normally. And you see, we are really grateful that we have the chance to try our best to help the local people indeed. And you can see this video is from our volunteer, Mr. Chen and our volunteer, Miss Lai Huaxiu. And actually, we bring a lot of socks from Taiwan to Jordan to these local people who they need it. But we buy the shoes there to give it to the students there. Okay, so before we contact with Lai Huaxiu, let's welcome her. I like to be with you because you are positive. You have positive energy. Hello, Huaxiu. Nice meeting you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, all of you on the online group, online study group. So I'm going to start. I'm a little bit nervous. So we'll give you a big hand so you can feel relaxed. Hi, I am Lai Huaxiu. I'm the volunteer and also the staff in Tzu Chi Foundation in Jordan. I would like to thank Master Zheng to establish this Tzu Chi world. So we have the chance to help the people who in need. And before I become the Tzu Chi staff, I don't know much about Tzu Chi. I only know it's a Buddhist group. And in the year 2007, I see in Syria, our volunteer, Mr. Chen, his video, and he produced this video and the report and introduced Tzu Chi to us. And while 2011, the Syria civil war, and actually all my family, we are suffered from this civil war, and we have no chance and nowhere to get help. So I remember that once I see this video, so maybe I can ask for help from Tzu Chi Foundation. On that time, I was wondering, well, a Buddhist group help Muslim. And then in the year 2014, while I went to Jordan, I visit our volunteer, Mr. Chen Qiuhua. And on that time, I realized this NGO, Tzu Chi, is not just a non-governmental organization, but it's also a group that helped people from different religions. The year 2018, I became the staff of Tzu Chi. I was very sad because I would like to help the people who suffered from the war like me, and they are also refugees like me. And I'm really grateful to have the chance to be supported by our volunteer, Mr. Chen Qiuhua, to help me. And on that time, 2018, my husband, he was still in Syria. therefore I met some financial problem, and our volunteer Mr. Qiu Hua, he gives me the chance to be Tzu Chi staff. So I'm really grateful that I turned my road from a refugee to the staff of Tzu Chi Foundation, and I also can help people who in need. And for nowadays, I hope I'm able to help the people who in need and promote vegetarian. And now I would like to share you the video I've taken. You see from this video is the city Damascus is the capital of Syria, and this is the Umayyad Mosque before Syria's civil war. Everything is peaceful, and you can see people there happily with their daily routine. And this is the local market. People go there to purchase for their daily routines. And now you see here is the beginning of the Syria civil war. It's really scary. And children, they lost their family just in one night.
For more than 2 years now. And
most of children, they lost their parents and they become orphans.
Now, especially the medical.
And I am the refugees from civil war, and we lack of everything. We have no food, we have no electricity, we lack of all kind of energy, and we need help from all over the world. Actually, we don't have electricity, we have no food. And we also need the supplies for children's medical treatment. We just see this video, and I'm not sure if you realize that there's a small conversation between me and my children, and I would like to show you that how happily we were in my family, and my children, he's asking for buying something, so you can understand that how happy family we were. But after the civil war begins, my husband, their family, they owned a factory, an olive farm, and it's destroyed. But it was destroyed by civil war. You can see from this picture, it's the olive farm from our family's business. So after the civil war, my husband he didn't leave Syria. He still stayed in Syria, and I came to Jordan in the year 2014. So for me, all of a sudden, we used to be such a happy family and becomes refugees. So I was really panicked. So in the year 2014, while I came to Jordan and I follow our volunteer, Mr. Chen to be a volunteer, to be Tzu Chi staff, I have the chance to help the people who in need. So I was very lucky because I just arrived to Jordan and I have to meet the financial problem, but I got a phone call that I have the chance to work at home. So I do really believe that if one does enough good deeds, one will get more than enough blessing to spare. I want to thank Tzu Chi Foundation and our volunteer, Mr. Chen Qiuhua, to give me the chance to follow you and help people who in need. I think many Tzu Chi volunteers has the same feeling like me, that we try to help others people and try to do our best, but sometimes we will be stressful and during that time, if I see people who in need get our helps and their smile, their warm-hearted smile just cheer me up. All of a sudden, I forget about the stress and the tiredness. So I remember that how lucky I am. So I turned my roles from a refugees to people who can help others who in need. And you can see this picture in 2017 is where I came to Banqiao in the year 2017. We joined a musical concert and he came to Banqiao together with me to thank all of the Tzu Chi volunteers and all of the people who help these Syrian refugees. And I'm really touched. For me, in my role, I am the daughter-in-law. I am part from Syria, so it's my responsibility to help those refugees come from the same country, Syria, like me. But our volunteer, Mr. Chen Qiuhua, he has no relation and he is not related to these Syrian refugees, but he just be selfishless to help all of these people, all of these refugees in Syria. I'm really touched. I would like to thank Tzu Chi Foundation and our volunteer, Mr. Chen Qiuhua. And Mr. Zheng always tell us to do the right thing, so I always remember this. Oh, we would like to thank our volunteer, Ms. Lai Huaxiu, and you see this is the volunteer, Mr. Chen Qiuhua. He's from Jordan. And okay, now they meet online. We are really touched. And earlier, Huaxiu just tell us that the experience she came to Banqiao to join in a concert with volunteer Mr. Chen Qiuhua and how touched she was by our volunteer Mr. Chen Qiuhua. And I'm not sure if you remembered this scene. I would like to remind you, during that time while our volunteer Mr. Chen Qiuhua, he joined the concert in Banqiao, he kneels down and be very grateful and humble to thank all the people from the world who helps these refugees from Syria. I think this scene touched hundreds of thousands of people from the world. So, I hesitated to invite them to join our Kaohsiung online study group, but because they are in different time zone to us. But I would like to tell you, our volunteer Mr. Chen Qiuhua, despite in different time zone, our volunteer Mr. Chen Qiuhua, he joined. He is the first volunteer overseas to contact us to join our Kaohsiung online study group. So let's give him a big hand. Hi, thank you everybody. Oh, thank you all from our Kaohsiung online study group. And due to different time zone, I cannot always attend the Kaohsiung online study group. And but I'll try my best. I'm really grateful to all of you and the Kaohsiung online study group to give me the chance and such a good affinity I have. I can join you. All of us, we are the disciples from our Dharma Master Zheng, so we have to follow her teaching and try our best to follow her. Mr. Chen Jiuhua, he doesn't speak much, but he already tell us how touched he is. So we have a good feedback from Canada, and they would like to thank our volunteers, Miss Lai Huaxiu and Mr. Chen Jiuhua, to share their precious experience being volunteer overseas. And there's a good feedback from our Thai volunteer. She would like to thank Huaxiu and Chiuhua. Thank you that give us being such a good role model to all Tzu Chi volunteer overseas. Okay, so I also would like to ask you guys, if you are online and hear our sharing, if you are touched, please like us, like our program. And so okay, let's everybody, let's wave our hands to the volunteers, Huaxiu and Qiuhua. I would like to ask what time is it now in Jordan? It's 5 hours difference, so now it's our time 9:40, and it's the time in Jordan 4:40. So there are 5 hours difference. Thank you so much to get up so early to join our Kaohsiung online study group. And we hear the good feedback from all over the world, from mainland China, from Thailand, from Malaysia, Penang, and the good feedback from our Taipei city, and our volunteers from mainland China, Shijing, Wenqing, and thank you the volunteers from Tainan. And let's have a look that this we raise the fund from you now. It's already more than 41,000, and I would like to thank you. And thank you all. Okay, so now I also would like to promote some good products from our Dawei technology. These products, they are really helpful. So if you need it, you just bring them home, and all the fee you pay for it, we will donate it to people who in need. And let's have a look. These 3 articles, they are from our volunteer. And there's a good news that last week I invited a volunteer, Yu Ting, and she is not only our volunteer, but I invited her to join our documentary volunteer last week, and she is new to our Kaohsiung online study group. And do you remember that the last week we interviewed volunteer Mr. Pan Shunliang, and he joined us from the Kaohsiung online study group last week, and he gave us good feedback now. Last time while he finished his interview and he go to second floor in and meet our interpreter group, and on that time he was so touched. He said it's not just an online study group but also a seminar international, and he sees so many people reunion together and to do the good things and to spread the good news together, and it's really touched. And also it was a great challenge for him that he has been the Tzu Chi volunteer for more than 15 years, but he only had 3 minutes to share his experience to everyone. So it's really a big challenge. And now our translation group and the interpreter groups has to translate what he said and share it in 18 different kind of language. It's really a big work. So he was really touched. And we also have the feedback from our volunteer, Mr. Lin Guoxing and Mr. Lu Meiyun. And both of them are grateful that our Tzu Chi Foundation showing such a good news, and our Kaohsiung online study group in the last 9 years tried our best to share the Dharma in life and share the good news on Kaohsiung online study group to the people who need in all over the world. And we also have a good feedback from our volunteer from the US. During the great pandemic, she heard the feedback from volunteer Mr. Lin Guoxing, and she's really touched by his sharing, because even under such a difficult circumstance, people there are still trying their best to help people indeed. So she's really touched. And Yuxian, she would like to share her grateful and touched after she see the sharing the story from our Kaohsiung online study group last week, and she was really happy and honored to have the chance to join us. And she remembered once that she went back to Tzu Chi Jingzi abode, and the experience that she met our Master Deqi, and she was really touched. And she was very happy, and she was surprised that our volunteer from Pingtung to share the Hongdou red bean dessert to Kaohsiung online study group. So out of these good feedbacks from all of you, we are very grateful. I think thanks to all of you, so Kaohsiung Online Study Group is our 9th year, and we can go on. So now let's go on to invite our volunteer, Miss Li Huimiao, and she is going to share the topic, feeling rich spiritually, we live peacefully. And I would like to, hi everyone, I'm Li Huimiao. I would like to share the volunteers morning assembly that what we get the discourse from Dharma Master Zheng Yan should teach us. This article is from June 1st, 2021. First of all, I would like to introduce you Volunteers Morning Assembly. This is a meeting not just for volunteers, but not just for our Tzu Chi volunteer, but for everyone who are interested in doing good deeds, you know, in 2,500 years ago, Buddha was still alive, and he such a wise man he is. Even on that time, they don't have many vehicles to travel around the world, but Buddhist teachings spread to everywhere. So how lucky we are, we can use the high technology and the social media to join in the volunteers morning assembling, and by using this social media we can get the discourse from our Dharma Master Zheng Yan. It's very incredible, right? And do you remember? Now I would like to tell you, in the year 1961, during that time, 1961 is the very first time our Tzu Chi Foundation we started 7-day chanting retreat. Actually, this is the first time Master Zheng Yan organized the 7-day chanting retreat for our volunteers, and she was surprised that during this by this 7-day chanting retreat, what a good chance she can offer to our Tzu Chi volunteer to learn the basic disciplines of Buddhism of our volunteers. And let's see this picture. In the year 1969, the lunar calendar, March 24, there were only less than 10 people join this 7-day chanting. And this is the first day of their 7-day chanting retreat. And let's have a look at the video. And during that time, they just set March 24, the lunar calendar is our Tzu Chi day. It's also Master Zheng Yan's birthday. During Buddha's time, he used the Buddha's teaching to share to all the people in need among the world. And this is our purpose, to learn Buddha's teaching, and it's far away for us to achieve Buddhist words, but we try our best to learn, and and Buddha also worried if human beings will be slack and give up easily. So therefore, there's a story about the parable of the conjured city from Sutra. And now you can see Master Zheng Yan, she is teaching us from the video the basic discipline of Buddhism, how to eat, how to dress on, and how to do the lesson in the 7 days, the 7 days chanting retreat. And also they make a pilgrimage to temple. I hope all of you today join the pilgrimage to temple and be aware of yourself. Hi everyone, I think you realize that the voice from Dharma Master Zheng and her voice during that time we can know how young she was in the year 1960s. Actually, the 7-day chanting retreat of our Tzu Chi Foundation is precious because it's a good motivation for these volunteers to went back to Hualian Jingsi abode. So can you imagine that every time there are more than 500 or 600 volunteers go back to Jingsi abode to join a 7-day chanting retreat, and these activities worked and raised until 1989. After 1989, they stopped the 7-day chanting retreat because we already started the establishment of Tzu Chi Hospital. And let's have a look at this picture. These are the our African volunteer in South Africa, and how they join our seminar. They try their best to get the Dharma teachings and practice at dawn, but it's not as easy as you can imagine. First of all, we need the people to translate it from Chinese to English to Portuguese for these South African volunteers. I would like to share you a story from our volunteer Lu Sha. She had been volunteer with Tzu Chi before 2019. She became the volunteer. Her husband, as a priest, had a piece of land intended for building a church, to construction a Christian church. And she told her husband, Tzu Chi Foundation, they need a place in Durban where for all the volunteers to gathering together, to cultivate together. So she tried to discuss with her husband again time by time, and finally she persuaded her husband, and finally her husband agreed to donate his land. And a few days ago, this volunteer, Lu Sha, she passed away without illness. How lucky she is. But yet, I think I have faith that she has come back to this world soon. She has never left us. And she has come back to this world. And with her good affinity with Tzu Chi, she will come back to us in the future. So, if we have good affinity with Tzu Chi, then after life, we will come back time by time to join the good deeds to help the people in need. So, I think every day we are well prepared to face death and the life after death. I think you and me, we are all the disciples of Dharma Mr. Zheng Yan, so we need to follow her teaching. And Mr. Zheng Yan also says that due to our strength, and she becomes more faithful and trust that what she does is correct. So she doesn't feel she is old. She doesn't feel the time passed at all. So you should be like me, that we should cherish our good affinity to be in Tzu Chi volunteer. So I'm very grateful and I share this to you. Thank you so much. So now, you don't need to be perfect, but you need to be, but you need to start so you can be great.
相信他，然后努力。我们慧妙师姐，她是第一个我们要开始翻译的时候，第一位导读者，也就是她要写出逐字稿。当我跟我们的所有的导读团队
And thanks to teacher Li Huimiao, and she is the first guiding reader that needs like a translations. Therefore, okay, she was the first one that should give us the transcript, okay, because our oral interpretation needed this. And she told me that, oh my God, this is a big problem for me, right? But I said this is very necessary to us, right? Okay. And at the very first time when she saw her like a transcript translated into Cambodian, and when she was on the way doing the like a guide reading, and she learned that her content is understood by the Cambodian like online study group like readers, and she felt very, very touched. And if you can just experience such feeling in the online study group Kaohsiung, and you will know like how wonderful it would be. Okay, and now when we are doing the guiding, like guided readings, and as I mentioned that we need, we need a transcript, okay, because it is necessary for translators and oral interpreters, right? So please give them a big hand, please, right? And in 2023, and we have like a cross-border guided reading, which is next year. Okay. And now we have some feedbacks, and we have Zhan says that this is really touching because we have a Changhua in Jordan doing such touching scenes, right? And it is really touching. This is a message from North California, and we have messages saying that this is a touching, that we have a Huaxiu in Jordan that dispatches love to people who are in need. And this is really wonderful that we can just help people stand up again. And every member is very important. And we say, okay, we have a message from Beijing saying that Huaxiu becoming a Tzu Chi volunteer because of Mr. Zheng's love. This is wonderful. And now we also have some feedbacks, and I will just give you a response later. And now let's go to the Catchy Fresh team, okay? And our Catchy Fresh team didn't do the work because last week was the 5th week.
Okay. So this week, this is our Catching Fresh team. All right. This is from Canada. In America, in Canada, a principal, Jun, and this is her feedback. She was so touching that the interpreters they did a very good work. And this is from Shandong Wang Hui, Sister Wang Hui. She think that only love can connect people, and it creates good results. And this is from Sister Taipei Jian. She was she always remember Master Deci. And this is from Zheng Haiwen from Malaysia. And he was, Yixion's volunteer, Sister Yixien, and he was touching of his story. And this is Hong Yuxian. She always remember the exhorts from Master Deci, remember to seize the time. Let's give them a big hands. Yes, and next one, we're gonna introduce a very good speech, and this is our Dr. Wu Hongbin.
And ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for us that we have like a great speech from the doctors in the Taichung Tzu Chi Hospital. And thank you very much to Superintendent Zhang Shouxin. And today we will have a wonderful doctor, and his name is Wu Hongbin. And you will learn very much, okay, because he's gonna be bringing us very wonderful speeches, right? And who is a graphic designer for our wonderful speech? And we have like a wonderful team, okay, all over the world. And we have Hongqiu from Thailand and other volunteers, right? And right here, and let's take a look at the video first, right? And let me share this with you. I got a new year and I can hear, and we help a lot of children with like a hearing loss, and they now can just hear very clearly. And we really do this, and it made it a greater success in the world, right? And the children with like hearing losses can just improve their hearing ability. And now the incision of my surgery is just limited, and they can just improve their hearing wonderfully. And he is a very, very young, like ENT doctors, right? And he grew up and developed the cochlear implementation in our hospital. And he is a role model in Taiwan. And doctors just share their touching feelings. And take a look and what did like a Superintendent Zhang Shouxin said about Wu Hongbin. And now take a look at one more clip, and we have a like a cute child here. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm Zheng Boqing, and he is 5 years old, and he can make a brief introduction happily. And can you imagine that he had a hearing loss before? And I feel that they can hear what they couldn't in the past with the cochlear implementation, and they now can listen well. And this is their mother, like feeling so happy. And this is a great world with like a beautiful sound, and we are over here accompanying them. Do you feel very touched? It's not only in the hospital, and the doctor also invited all the children going outside and have fun. Okay, this is kind of great interaction, right? And now we have Dr. Wu with us today. And do you think that he only takes care of kids? No, he takes care of also other patients, like older or aged ones, right? And this is like a video clips from Dawei TV. And if patients pick their pick their ears too often, or a big pressure, also will damage their hearing ability, right? And for example, if a patient like go diving too often, and it is kind of greater harm to their like hearing loss, right? And when bacteria just get into their like inner ear, it is also a sign, okay? And you can see the pus in the ear, and maybe this is about the rupture, like eardrum, and it will cause like a brain inflammation, and maybe a lot of like complications will follow thereby, right? This is a wonderful news clips, right? And I will just send this clip to our line group, and you can just watch them over and over. And we will never know when you have to take care of your ear, right? And you will never know what your job will cause you like a hearing loss, right? And when do you need to be examined on your like a hearing ability? And I'm the worker that I lost my hearing ability, and I expose myself in like a noisy environment. And I think this is a time for you to take care of your hearing. And I think ear muff or ear plugs are very, very important that can just prevent you from like a noise that may damage your ear and hearing. With listening disability, hearing disability, doctors suggest taking like a hearing examinations like yearly, right? And for the early stage of hearing loss, probably patients don't feel that, and when they have some kind of strange, feelings on this and needed to be examined, and it's the time for them. Well, and including myself, that I didn't think that I had this problem. Okay, but now, and one more video, and this is a 200 example of like a cookie, like a calculator implementation, which make the patient hear more clearly, and she hopes that she could just have a job after she graduated next year. Ladies and gentlemen, and we have our ENT doctor Wu Hongbin, okay, and he's the youngest professor, okay, in Taichung. And I just talk to my like team members that either you or I have to wear the mask, right? Okay. And do you feel this is kind of charming person? And the ear, I mean, the hearing ability is really important, but we rarely take care of it, right? And now here's a chance that we have a professional one here, right? Okay. And in the video, it says that, okay, he gave the 200 like a calculator implementations to patients, right? This is a really wonderful role model for us, right? And let's give Dr. Wu Zhuren, Wu Hongbin, a big hand, please, ladies and gentlemen. And he is from Taichung Tzu Chi Hospital. And you can take your mask off. And let's give him again the big hand. Dr. Wu Hongbin, this is a 3 centimeter trial. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Good day. And the first thing that I am here is to learn. Well, you don't have to be really professional to start, and you have to start, and you can be professional therefore. And today, my topic is the trial of 3 centimeters. Why do I name this? And we have many organs like like livers, like a heart in our body after we were born. However, now we are adult. And do you know anything about your cochlear? Okay. And cochlear is the organ that never grows bigger, okay, as we grow up. And this is a very, very rare organ that remains the same size as we were born. And actually, when a doctor says that he suffered like a hearing like a loss, and I didn't expect that he can just hear again. I just feel that okay, my boy, my girl, okay, could just hear clearly if she is implemented some kind of devices, and it helped me very much. And now I feel so pleased. It's just like a dream. I can describe how joyless I am through my language, right? If she did not have the cochlear implementation, he couldn't speak so well now. The mom said something, but what the mom didn't say that, okay, the little girl was the first case that we had the implementation for her. And she just graduated from high school, and I just learned such skill from Australia, and I spent like over half a year learning such like a skill back in Taiwan, and I had a surgery on the girl for 12 years, and I made it. But actually, she was also the first case that I did not make it. Okay. And the mom first heard this and she felt so sad and she cried in our volunteers like shoulder. And for this, I said, I think in my mind that I really had to do something. Okay. And now, okay, I made it. And there were three parts of, okay, our ear, and a sound wave is a kind of like the pressure wave, and through the vibration of the air around us, and the sound waves are transmitted in our ears. The function of the acoustic meters is to accumulate sound waves, and middle ear is to transmit sound waves, and while inner ear is to convert cover the pressure waves into electric nerve sites. And the electronic nerve signals are transmitted to cerebral cortex through auditory nerve to form hearing. Now, most of us serve and profound hearing loss of death are caused by the implementation or loss of the hair cell of a cochlear. And therefore, if we could find a method to replace the function of their of their hair cells of the cochlear to convert sound wave into electronic nerve signal to transmit to hearing nerve, and the most cause of deafness can be resolved. And the cochlear implant is an electronic device that can help to provide a sense of sound to a person who is profoundly deaf or severely hard of hearing. It can convert the sound in the environment to electronic impulse signal by simulating auditory spinal ganglion nerve to transmit the sound signal to brain. And this is, this is how our electronic devices work to help you hear again. And that's it. And from my first cases, which was a failure to now, and I now am here to share you about all my experiences on all the patients, and I will share you what I have done. And I think the most precious one is everybody's a favor and support. And the young girl, as you see in the video, and received the second surgery, and we made it. And we also get a center for a hearing implant. And then we just make it into kind of a role model in Taiwan. And we have to just improve our ability if we face any failure. And aside from cochlear implementation, and we also need help from all the teams to help the patients. And what we can do is kind of necessary, okay? So we need support not only on doctors, right? But we also need a lot of social workers and psychiatrists help, for etc. And therefore we set a standard. And the first that we need a standardized process to help the surgery go on well. And we also need, to notice that 70% of my patients are kids, right? They suffer from hearing loss, and I need to help them. And the third, and everybody is a kind of special individual, so we need to be just design all the devices for them individually. And the last is that during the surgery process, and we really have to put all my experiences into an academic process to make us kind of a standardized. and we really need a lot of that knowledge to help us, right? And this is a standardized surgery, and we only make an incision like a 2.5 centimeters, right? And this is like a minimally invasive implementation, right? And we just make an incision and we make an implantation. And in the past, with such a surgery, and the incision would be like a 10 or 20 centimeters long, which was really long. But now, okay, we improved it, and you just couldn't even see, okay, any signs like of a surgery, okay, after, okay, they received the implementation, right? Okay, so we are doing everything to make like a less like a trauma and make parents like worried less, right? And we have to be careful about the bone dust, okay, staying in their like incision after we have finished all the implementations. Well, and this is a device that only, okay, prolongs like 2 or 3 years, and then we need a new one. And if we are really rude during the process of a surgery, and I think the electronic disease would be damaged, and therefore it brings a kind of harm to the children who is under the implementation process. So this is a device that not only help a patient hear again, but also it is kind of humanistic, like a process that the doctors should be noticing. And for our cochlear structures, and this is really tiny in patients' ears, so we really need to be careful, right? And we also, have like models of examinations on their nerve, their facial nerves, and on the electrodes, and on the immunology, and this is really important, right? And we need to be careful on every single step. And after the surgery, and we have to turn on the devices for a day, and we have to keep tracking it afterwards. And I think after a child was born, the parents are really like concentrating on what they are doing, and they are nervous about whether they are injured or not. And after the surgery, and of course, like the parents had to wait more than 4 weeks to know whether the electronic hearing devices were successful or not, right? And now, okay, we can just shorten the time waiting. And after we just make it into a standardized process, right? And we can just make it more successful up to 99%. And just now, teacher may introduce to us that we also have a lot of interactions between the patients, and we were also awarded. And I think for children, okay, children with like hearing loss may not interact with their friends very well. And they also, so they need encouragement and like people's accompaniment. It's not only about the like hearing device implementation. It also requires a lot of interactions and the love toward all the people and our teams, right? And through the genetic examination, then we will learn that okay, whether the child may suffer from hearing disability, hearing loss, right? And we learned that over 50 to 70% of the kids got this problem. And we also need to seek, other help, because, the hearing loss is kind of like a vague situation. And we need to know where the problem is, right? And this may be kind of like a genetic heritage. And when the child suffers from this problem, and parents may worry whether their second or third child may also have the same problem there. And for the recent 100 cases, and you will learn that this is about gene, that's right. And we also need to understand that not only Jian, but also structures or organs on human bodies of us. And now we have a standardized process on the hearing devices. And now we have the recent 281 cases, which are really successful. And this is like a bespoke ones.
So everyone needs a bespoke exam and also a device work for them individually. And follow-up therapy are quite different for every case, from case by case. And after they could hear sound from the environment, after the cochlear implants, they still need therapies and also hearing education to teach them how to listen to the sound and interpret the sound they hear, because the sound they hear is quite different from the normal people hearing the sound. So they need to know how to interpret the sound. They need tremendous time of education to learn how to interpret and how to pronounce the correct sound to be able to speak and communicate with others. And this is a real case that he has a cardiac disease, and also he has a let's take a look at his for this rare case. We made a special bespoke surgery for him, and he was transferred from another hospital from the southern Taiwan. And for him, we made a special center for him, a special procedure for him. Whether comparing from our hospital to other hospital, because we standardize our procedure, and we also bestow our procedure for each individual. We standardize all the procedures. So all the patients, when they come to our hospital, in our center, speech and hearing center, they would know what the process they would have to go through. And the second thing that we are specialized is that we have a tremendous research on this hearing and impaired symptom and how the treatment. So we are the experts in this area. We would make our try our best and make the best in retaining the ability of hearing and retaining the original tissues and the structure in the ear. And this is the retaining the hearing ability. The best outcome is to be able to hear sound and voice from the environment. And we make the round window incision very tiny, small, minimum incision. And we need to conduct the surgery under a microscope, and cochlear implant is under the 0.01 centimeter, and the incision is would affect the hearing ability. And when the incision is when we put in the electrode for 0.01, the size of the device electrode is 0.01, and so the incision, we try our best to make the incision smaller, even smaller than the 0.01. So it's very delicate. We need to be very careful and under the microscope to conduct the surgery. And also the steroid use, we minimize the steroid use, and we apply the steroid on the electrode. And how could we reduce the complications from the use of the steroid? We have to be very, very careful on every procedure that we take. We break the record in the whole world. No matter we compare to the US, the Europe, we break the record because we could turn on the device on the next day after the surgery. In the old days, the patient have to wait for 1 month to be able to turn on the device to be able to hear voice. But now that they could turn on the voice after the next day after the surgery, and this is minimum invasive surgery. You can take a look. This incision is only 2.5 centimeter, and after there's a temporal bone. I have to cut open this temporal bone to cut a little hole on the bone, and I need to find that 0.01 hole on the bone to put in this device. How this? I feel like I'm an artist. The 0.01 centimeter incision, I have to be able to see very clear, see through that 0.01 incision that we cut open over the skin and tissues, and put in the device at the right place with precision. So we have to make the surgery with exact precisions and to do our best to assure that our patient would gain their hearing ability very fast. And after the follow-up therapy and follow-up exams are very important too. We already are the best in Taiwan right now. We are very grateful that we are in the Tzu Chi team. Tzu Chi is a very strong supporting power for our team, for Tzu Chi. We have a pair of ear. Master Zheng Yan's encouragement and support is a great supporting power to back us up because we encourage children to have hearing loss to get receive the surgery of a cochlear implants for both ears because that would could gain the maximum benefit. And many doctors from overseas, like from Indonesia, they came to Taiwan to learn the this cochlear implant surgery procedure. And we also have our Facebook fan page. And if you have a cell phone by your side, please pick up your cell phone and follow up on our fan page on Facebook, and so that you could probably help people who are suffering from hearing loss. They could get appropriate proper treatment. And we hope that in the future, all the children will be able to speak out loud from what they can hear, and they can hear the world.
Do you realize that we are so concentrated because our doctors are so charming here? And he is talking about something that we rarely know, but he is really patient, and he described every detail very carefully. And today we got like 5 languages in oral interpretation, and I think our interpreters are so happy today, right? And they always complain that I always speak so fast, but you speak really gently and slowly. And your voice is softer, and your voice is charming. And is that because that you are an ENT doctor, so you should be gentle, while I always talk rudely, right? Answer my question. Actually, no. And I think, I have to be really patient learning, okay, when I wake my child up, right? And I think I was trained to have the like a prompt speech, right, in a minute. Therefore, I got like plenty of like a training, right? Okay, and I was therefore corrected, and Master Zheng corrected me, and the Superintendent Zhan corrected me too. Therefore, now this is the process that I spoke, like a slower and slower, right? Okay. And because when we had like a speech contest, like a prompt speech when we were like a young child, and we had to speak really fast, but now you are so gentle. I think when we like speak gently in a slower speed, and it is persuasive, right? And you made it, Doctor. Just now, Doctor Wu mentioned about the implementation of our hearing ability. And did you realize that I really take what you say into my brain, okay? And I was shocked that the price is like 100, I mean like $1 million for just one implementation. And if you got the implementations on both sides, right, and it costs like 2 million, right? Okay. And think about that, how much Tzu Chi can help us, right? And this is the very first time that we learn about such topics, right? If you know about the price of a hearing device, please raise your hand. And if you learn Master Zheng is so generous and compassionate and support the people from with hearing disability, and please wave your hands, right? Oh my God, all right. Okay, so Qing, you are a very, very senior volunteer, and this is the very first time that you learn about this information, right? Okay, if Dr. Wu hadn't mentioned this, and we would never have known such information, that the hearing devices cost so much money, and Mr. Zheng really gives us very, very great support, right? And doctor, you see me this way, and I feel so shy and embarrassed, right? Okay. And now, exactly, we learn very much, right? I'm so grateful that we have all the Tzu Chi, like doctors and the superintendents, right? And they really introduce like great doctors to Kaohsiung online study group, and we can just learn very much from them, right? Okay. And this is so great that they are so willing to come over. And Dr. Wu has been so humble, talking about only one thing, and that is a teamwork, always teamwork. And he bears this in mind, right? And here we have a message from Jin saying that this is such a wonderful, like a devices implementation, and you guys are really wonderful bodhisattvas, right? And if you also think so, give him a big hand, please. And we have a Ke and I don't know where you are. You say, I'm so grateful to Dr. Wu. And we also have Jinsi from Thailand saying that you got a really, really wonderful like a skill, and you give us the 3-inch lessons, this is not just a trial. And thank you very much for doctors with like a bodhisattvas, like mindset, and do the good deeds and to patients who are in need. And we are really careful, right? And we have a Jian saying thank you to all the doctors, right? Because you are humble and you make a patients like here again and have like a great interactions with people. This is very important if we lose our hearing ability, right? And if you are the mother of the children with like a hearing loss, right? And you will never know that how touching it is, when the mother like meets up with Dr. Wu, right? And actually, well, I originally received the request that the hearing devices, I mean the cochlear like implants, has to be experimented within a 4-week time, right? But I made it that we have to just do it everything in one day. So it is my own request for myself, right? Okay. And I chatted with Dr. Wu, and I learned that he is really patient, right? Okay. And I just suggested to him that he take the HSR in a specific time, okay? And he therefore can come over to Kaohsiung. And he just gently said that, okay, is it possible that I just send my child to school and then I can start my journey to Kaohsiung? Is that okay? This is such a detailed, like a gentle thing that, and from this, I learned how patient he is, right? And he is a very great father, of course, right? Okay. And I really need like positive feedbacks from everybody, right? Okay. And last month we have a message from Canada, and he is a good doctor, and he is also like a wonderful hero for us, right? And you can read the message by yourself, right? And this is a message from Guanxinli in Canada. And I'm a hero, and this is a kind of a wonderful experience. And this is a 3-inch trial, and this is a trial that brings all the unlimited blessings to people. And this is a really detailed speech, and this is a very easy one. And we really learn very much from you, like a speech, right? Thank you very much to Guanxinli in Canada, right? This is wonderful, and this is what I feel too. And he's so charming, therefore, right? Okay, you only concentrate on his speaking, and don't forget and write on something as like a positive feedback to us, right? And this is a very important encouragement to us, right? Okay. Okay, so this is wonderful. So, ladies and gentlemen, then you can download all the videos, okay, by yourself, right? And finally, this is a very important thing that you can just scan his fan page on the Facebook, and you will know what Dr. Wu's doing, and you will receive all the good suggestions about your hearing, like a protection. Okay, please always remember that we have a great doctors from Taichung. And now I have a question, right? Okay. And does a kid need to just change the hearing devices in the future? Yes, right. Okay. And again, and therefore it means that parents should have to spend another $1 million, right? Well, I hope the price can be like lower in the future, right? And all in all, I just feel so happy for the children because they can hear the world again. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Wu Hongbin, thank you very much, right? And thank you so much, right? Okay, and the Changyu will just take you back, okay, with his wonderful car, of course, right? And Dr. Wu, okay, we have a question from, okay, volunteers, right? So hearing devices, is it different from like a calculator implementation? No, they are different. They are very different. Okay, and when patients using like hearing devices, and they are not 100% deaf, right? But if we apply like a calculator, like a implementation, it means the patient is 100% deaf, right? Finally, we understand what they are. Right? Thank you so much. Please. And if you got any more questions, then you can post your questions on our Facebook, and we will give the questions to Dr. Wu. Okay, and you will know that someday in the future. And then we have Wendai from Hualien saying thank you so much that Dr. Wu just established a wonderful team in Taichung, and he takes very good care of children and make children just hear again and hear the world and hear everything. Talking, you are a wonderful team in Taichung. Thank you for your dedication. Thank you so much, right? And Huimiao's and Huimiao also says this is wonderful, right? Okay. And we have like a volunteers from Changhua, but why are you sitting here and write on nothing, huh? Okay, and we also have like volunteers from China saying this is a kind of a professional content today. However, it was very difficult to understand, but our doctor make it so easy, right? Okay, this is so understandable. And we also receive a lot of like a positive feedback from Huimiao's that guided reading. Okay. And now let's follow it up. And just now we went to Jordan, and now let's go to Haerbin in China.
Okay, now you are watching a video. It's talk about the Haerbin Ice and the Snow Festival. The festival, and it's a beautiful and a very beautiful scene. And there are 4 major ice and snow festivals in the world, and they can compete with the one in Japan, in Canada, and in Norway. It's a famous international festival. So we hope that through the various epidemic prevention measures, the visitors will have good memories of the ice and the snow festival. So every time when we mention about the Haerbin, we will always mention an elder volunteer, Wang Jinhua. She was very old, although she was very small, but she dedicated herself to do the recycling work. She said that she will do the environmental potential until her last breath. So Master Zheng Yan mentioned about her many times. So today later on we are going to welcome the lecturer Zhai Kaiying. And on the video, she said that not only she went to the hospital to do the blood donation, she also provide a very good package to the staff work at the hospital. And then this is another video talk about one of our care recipients in Haerbin. And this care recipient was inspired, and later on, she was also inspired and take the training course. So this is Zhai Kaiying. She talked to the patient and encouraged him to be positive and think at the bright side. And you need to have the strength, and hopefully you will stand up again. So this is the one we're going to invite Zhai Kaiying from Haerbin. So let's say the password. I'd like to stay with you because you have positive energies. So Kaiying actually was right now is not at home. She was on the way to pay the visit to one of the recipients. Hello, Kaiying. Now we can hear you. Okay, now we can hear you. She said they were sorry because she did not wear uniform today. Now you may start to do your sharing. Hi, everyone. Good day. I am Zhai Kaiying from Haerbin. I feel grateful to share a story of a veteran Liu Yixiong, whose wife was paralyzed in bed for 6 years, and they have 3 children. The oldest son is a disabled person. The second one has his own job. And the third one is a daughter, but she has a mental disorders. Now let's go to the next page. The day we visit his daughter raised the voice to us. And she always asked her father for the money and even beat him if she couldn't get the money from Liu Yixiong. And then when we visit the Liu Yixiong, we noticed there was a picture on the wall. And he looked so great with the army uniform when he was young. So everything, when we paid a visit to them, we prepared the homemade dumpling, noodles, and everyone prepared one dish and enjoyed the meal with Liu Yixiong. Now let's go to the PowerPoint. So this is a picture showing the homemade dumpling and noodles. So on May 20th, 2019, Liu's wife passed away at the age of 24. And many of you may understand the pronunciation of May 20 in Chinese is Wu Erling, which means I love you. So the relationship between these two persons is very good. And mentoring Liu's love to his wife is something that many people cannot do. So after the funeral, the elder volunteer who lived nearby also paid a visit to him. And after the funeral, we paid a visit to him, and in order to distract from the pain of missing his wife, we invited Liu Yixiong to come to the recycling station. And later on, he began to love to do the environmental protection. And those are the recyclable items that he accumulated. His son used to give us a poker face, but now we see his change as we received a home heartwarming welcome. We invited Liu Xiqing as well as other care recipients in the neighborhood to join the volunteers' birthday party. Liu said that he was very touched by Tzu Chi's love. He has nothing to return, only able to pick some fruits from his backyard to thank Tzu Chi volunteers. So this is the fruits he brought to us. During the Chinese New Year, his daughter was upset because she couldn't get money from Liu. She set a fire to the house and it was burned to the ground. Liu was very depressed and he said that he lost everything, including the photo with the army uniform and all the memories with his wife were gone. We told him that we will try to find a picture for him. So later on, he moved to his second son's home, and we brought the picture that we found and we put them into a frame. Liu was very happy. In the summer, during the summer season, it took him 3 hours to back and forth to the market to pick up the recyclable items. He said, as long as he was alive, he will continue to do the environmental protection. So I took the picture, and this is the old and the new pictures. Although the fire burned his house, we brought a new present to him, which is a brand new army uniform. So the recyclable items that he accumulated, it is too full to fit the cart. And on August 1st, we visited him with the new army uniform, and he was very happy. And he said that he never been so happy in his life. So this is the old picture and the new picture. Okay, now from this picture, you can see that Liu loves his country. The flag and the uniform are the great honor in his life. He even marked August 1st on the flag. The uniform was hung on the wall neatly. It was great to see the smile on his face, and this is our biggest wish. So by the end of the year, we invite him, and that was our last time to see him. In the Chinese New Year Eve, the 2 sons were drunk and were sent to the police station. They always gave Liu a hard time in the past years. And in March 2021, we received a phone call from his eldest son. Liu was passed away because of the heartache at the age of 75. But later on, we feel grateful that Liu's daughter-in-law, she started to learn to do the recycling. I will never forget about this referral who loves environmental protection, even he was old. We learned so much from him, and so every time when I pass by his house, I always have the tears in my eyes. I thought about the mentoring Liu's love to his wife, and I was always told by him that we needed to cherish every affinity with our families and be more understanding, because broke up can't solve any problem. We have to solve the problem together, and I also remind myself that we needed to cherish the affinity with Dharma Master Zheng. I have learned from the Tzu Chi family, so we needed to follow Master Zheng's path. I will work hard. I will work more harder to be one of Master Zheng's ideal disciple. I will be certified as a commissioner this year, and I will be more understanding and be more responsible and diligently. By the end of my sharing, I would like to invite you to watch this video. Actually, it was a review of the story, and it's a remembrance of the mentoring Liu Xiqing. So their stories give us a very good inspiration. We look after mentoring Liu Xiqing. We inspired him and took him to do the recycling work. We gave him the brand new army uniform to make him happy. I hope this story can help you and benefit many people. So this is the picture that we took for him, and this is the end of the story. Thank you very much for your sharing. Thank you for Kaiying. She really did a good job and worked so hard to overcome the technical problem. So even she was on the way to pay the visit to the care recipient, she used her cell phone, and because of the difference, we may have some glitch, but this is a very touching story. Thank you. And then we have the feedback from Japanese.
And thank you very much for everybody's wonderful sharings, right? And we also have, a wonderful experience with Zhai Kaiying, right? And we have a message from Shandong Weihai saying this is wonderful, right? Okay. Now I dare not say that I'm old and aged, right? Now I realize that I can really do a lot to people. Okay. And we have Huimiao in Jian saying this is a wonderful team, right? Okay, and the transcript and the script is kind of necessary. I think everybody can just do it now. It is our time to stretch it out. And ladies and gentlemen, please be ready to take some exercise now.
继续猜，点尖，还有蹲起等待。膝盖微弯就好了哦。非常棒，非常棒！准备开窗户。别怕付出微不足道，只要用了心，谁都感觉得到。哎，微笑。只要你微笑。哎，记得要换边啊。不是幸福青春，也因此而美好。准备滚轮了，一边跟着同方向，换边我们同方向。就站起来，伸出手来。再来，左边滚轮，你们的方向。踏步，双手向前，左边，右边，踏步，双手，再一个，非常好，踏步，双手向前，准备大放送，来，大放送，祝福，大放送再一次，来祝福4个。来，闪亮3圈，第2圈，准备滚轮再一次，左边，右边，踏步，双手向前，不要动作哦，踏步，往前，再来，滚轮，换边，踏往这边，哎，很好。知道下一边是哪一边了哈？你们的左边，耶，很棒！来，开启双手，2步，1步2步，1步2步，1步2步，准备双手打开，闪亮上来。吴主任会不会觉得很尴尬？主任很棒的，对，主任，你下一次你们的金像奖 Part 2篇就可以给它弄出来了。好，接下来这一首我们就是把洗手歌换掉了哈。林碧玉副总做的，林副总做的，大步拍3下。
It's great, right? Okay, now do you feel relieved now?
开始点肩向上，点肩向上。
And we have the next song for you.
好，来提水桶，提水桶。提水桶，来擦镜子，擦镜子，往下擦，往上擦，往下擦，来点肩，点肩向上，点肩向上，继续，非常好。来跑步，换边，再来，换边，擦镜子。往下擦，往上擦，往下擦，点肩。很好哦，加油加油！大力水手，
长照手牵手，心安自在快乐活，自己救。
准备踏步，1、2、3、4，拍拍拍，1、2、3、4，拍拍拍。1、2、3、4，拍拍拍，1、2、3、4，拍拍拍，头，点肩向上，点肩向上，准备提水桶，
你丢我捡难不倒，
提水桶的动作，
街头巷尾人人好。
擦镜子擦，往下擦。再来一次，往下擦，点肩，
就是康健身教，
加油加油！手举高，跑步，
环保志工跑在前，社区关怀不落后，
再来，
秒事秒连篇，
擦镜子，往下擦，再来，往上，往下，点肩，
老当益壮胜青年，
非常棒。 加油！
鞠躬下下
大力
叫，
水手，
长照长照手牵手，心安自在快乐活，自己999。
准备踏步，慈济长照大爱多，慈济长照感恩多，慈济长照健康多，慈济长照快乐多，耶！热烈掌声！慢慢坐下，请坐下。哎，请坐，还没有轮到你们来。嘿 ，OK， 请你们下来哈，请大家请坐哈。这一首歌是谁的？林副总写的。对，林碧玉副总，您是第一次听的，请举手。一定是第一次，为什么？他最早给我了，结果我们就做成这样。做成以后，他副总非常的开心。我们说我们要推，他说。
And this song is composed by Lin Biyu, right? And it is your first time here in this? Raise your hand. And this is composed by Lin Biyu, and we just make it into some of the fun activity, right? And I guess this is your first time listening to this song, right? And I said to Lin Biyu that okay, and should I use your music and make it into fun activity? And she said, yeah, sure, no problem. Okay. And right here, and we have Yuncai and all the entrepreneurs, okay, and they just get us some fruit here and the vegetables here, right? And this is grown by herself, and she will be selling the vegetables as a support to Ukraine. And you remember that he has an oldest son named Ye Dengxian, who is like a captain, okay? And he also has a second son, okay? And he is a doctor in the Dalian Tzu Chi hospital. And his name is Ye Mingxian, right? Do you think they are famous, right? And he has two sons. The one is like a pilot, and the other is a doctor. And actually, they are all Tzu Chi volunteers, right? And yes, right. And when I go outside with Yuncai, and who drives, right? And she does, right? And she drives a Benz car, right? And she sent me somewhere, right? And today, this is the vegetable in my hand, and he grows, okay, by herself, and she will sell it at $100, okay, a bag, right? And this is going to be the support to Ukrainian refugees, right? And right here, this is not a gift for you. This is a new product launched from Jingsi. And this is the soybean sauce, right? And the 3 different flavors of soybean meals, and they are so wonderful. And I will just introduce them to you, and you can purchase them in our Jingsi bookstore here. And if you come here and purchase any product over $1,000, and we will give you great discounts, right? And this is like $800 for the 3 soy sauce right here. And also, please support us in Ukraine refugees, right? And we have the Andy from Mongolia, and she says this is a wonderful affinity, okay, to hear a Dr. Wu's speech. And now let's take a look at the second round, okay, speeches, right? And I'm very touched with the positive feedback from China, but because we are running out of time, so we may not read all of them. And today, let's go directly, okay, to our next part of our speech, right? And here, we have our monthly subject here, and who composed this wonderful graphic. And okay, we have Chen Jiazhi who designed this, right? And who wrote the content, and he does it by himself, right? And they are very cute. And let's take a look at this video. And without any support, right, in the cold weather, and we offer them like blankets here, and we explain such like a compassionate like a technology to tourists, right? And please, come up here, okay? We have a great volunteers like from Changhua, okay? You can take a look at the videos like a film day in the central Taiwan. And just now, I think we saw like Zhan Dawei, okay, in the video, and he is very pleased, right, to explain all the product, Jingsi product, right, and they are used to save people, and they are eco-friendly, and we can just make them in our daily lives, right? And thank you, Zhan Dawei. And we also have Zhang Yixiong, okay? And this is his brief introduction through our video, and let's take a look. And we have like 7 volunteers coming from Changhua, okay, and this is one of them, Zhang Yixiong, and he looks a little bit like aged, but he is very young in mind, right? And let's take a look at what he's doing, right? And this is very, very important job. That is, he is a documentary volunteer, and this is, okay, very thankful to have him. And if you feel this is something that I can't shoulder, and you have to gently say no, but if you can just shoulder it and just take it bravely, and I think I will just keep doing, okay, the documentary jobs, right? After I get the contact work to Brother Dawei, and I continue working behind the scene as a documentary volunteer. Do you think this is very touching, right? He is always a volunteer in our documentary team, right? And now let me give you a younger volunteer through the video, and he is Zhang Yongtong. And aside from working, and he does a lot for Tzu Chi. And he also conducts traffic like for children in school. And let's take a look at when he just participated in our documentary team. And taking pictures is not the only function. And I began videotaping, editing videos, and I imported from somewhere. And Premiere was the media that I use, and because it has like an interface in English, so it was difficult for me to learn. I did my best, however, and I will just learn something and make it through, right? If I work hard on it, and things will change. I feel honored to learn the documenting, and everyone is very, very, happy and get into the Tzu Chi big family, and now you learn something. Finally, let's take one more video. Take a look at one more video, and this is the only lady we have from Changhua today, and this is really wonderful. And she was so like Shusi worked for the post office, and now she's a documentary volunteer in Changhua. And before this, we need an interview, and we will just make everybody all together, and they just do everything by themselves, okay? And although she is a documentary volunteer, but she also sends patients to the hospital, and her husband cannot drive, and her children were abroad, and she just does everything by herself, serving as a volunteer, like a very heartwarming woman. And she sends like a patient to hospital by herself, and she is always a great assistant, right? And she sends the patient to the hospital, and she learned that she got like a lameness on her limbs, right? And she's really, really like a heartwarming, and she really takes care of all the people around her, and she devoted in documentary like a volunteering, and she began with nothing, and she learned a lot, right? And volunteers from China say that she is a really wonderful person. So now, and this is our Iron Lady here, right, Jian Shusi, right? And here, and we have 7 documentary volunteers from Changhua today, and we really feel very happy, and we have them here and just sharing like how they are doing in Changhua as a documentary voluntary team in Changhua. And here, okay, in their hands, and there are a lot of publications, and let me tell you, they are composed and they are published by themselves, right? Ladies and gentlemen, team from Changhua. And this is Zhan Dawei. Okay, ladies and gentlemen from online study group Kaohsiung, good day. We are from Changhua. And it's great that I have and I possess this great affinity, and I'm here. My name is Zhan Dawei. My Dharma name is Weishao. And because, you know, in my Dharma name, I have a word which means literature, which means documentation. And maybe this is therefore I am volunteering in the documentary field. And in our like yearly review of the voluntary volunteers, and we have a long-lasting care like article there. And let me just briefly introduce what it is, right? I became a Tzu Chi volunteer in year 1995. And I was asked that whether I could use a computer, but sorry, I couldn't, because, you know, at that time, computer was not very popular in Taiwan when I was only 38 years old that year. And I learned from nothing, learning how to like produce like documentations, right? And I just, you know, learned how to use a computer and type on the documents, right? And I use both of my like fingers, right? And I really learned everything just like an infant. And I also tried like a recording, okay? But my pronunciation in Chinese is not so correct. Therefore, I wanted to correct my Chinese language pronunciation, and I took a class, okay, learning Mandarin. Well, and I really learned very much at Tzu Chi, okay? And I also opened up a company, and I earned a lot of money buying stock, and I also lost all the money I had, right? And I also faced a big problem physically. And when I was 50 years old, I think it was time for me to be a full-time volunteer. So I did. I quit my job, and I stopped suffering, and I began my happy volunteer life when I was 50. Oh, I suffered, okay, and I had like a operation in 2015, and after that I realized that I had to seize every moment I had to do the good deeds, right? And I am very grateful to like Tzu Chi volunteers, right? And the Humanitarian Center in Taipei. And we have over 330 volunteers of documentary volunteers, like in Changhua, and they are couples, they are fathers and sons, they are mothers and daughters, right? And this is a very wonderful team, right? And we just share the jobs, and we also, you know, help one another and achieve the goals that we set, right? Okay. And this is the book, like this is, you know that Cai is our volunteer who is already over 100 years old, And we also have the reverse by Gao Zhaoliang, who dropped before. And this is a Xinkuan Shiji talking about our century-year-old volunteer Cai Kuan. And I think that they are all the good publications, right? And here, then we also have a publication recording like what we have done in Changhua. And this is very special. And within the 20 years, and we have the chronology about what we do within the 20 years of Tzu Chi life in Changhua. And now let's have our second volunteer and sharing how he feels and what he has done.
我在这个人人真善美，我是2002年退休，退休以后我就在做人人真善美。
Ladies and gentlemen, good day. My name is Zhang Yixiong. I have been serving in the documentary volunteer in this team. After I retired, I got retired in 2002. Okay, and I served in the team for 20 years, right? But I had some physical problem, and I stopped, serving for a while. And I've been really interested in like a documentary team, okay? But using a computer, right? I type in all the text in a different way, and I made a lot of mistakes before. After I get retired from my job, I felt that I must continue learning and serving, okay, in a documentary team. And what I did was what was the job of compiling, okay, the Buddhist canon, which is a review of like a Tzu Chi's history. And because in 2009, I went back to Hualien Jinsi Hall and had a conference, and I was told that our mission is to keep the record and history of Tzu Chi. So I have to record exactly on the chronology about what year, what month, and even what day like Tzu Chi has been doing. And this is what I have been doing for over 10 years, right? Almost 20, non-stop, okay? And I think this is very important, okay, to have the chronology in Tzu Chi, right? And it's been, the 56th year of the Tzu Chi history. And in my record, I think the chronology, which takes almost 3/4 of the record, is so important because it clearly indicates what Tzu Chi has been doing. And if we need to check out the records, and it will be very easy as we open up the record. And for all the informations we need, and for all the Buddhist canons that we need, and or we have guests that wanna just take a look at what Tzu Chi is doing, and chronology counts. The Tzu Chi chronology is important, and this is the job that I do. And I just compile them through different years, different topics, and different dates, and this is very clear. And now everyone is beginning with a very important task, and that is we make the chronology online from 1990. and we didn't have anything before year 1989. And I think for now, and if you want to search the history before 1989, then we needed to open up the paper records, right? And this is necessary for me, okay, to continue doing this because we still have a lot of records, okay, needing to be documented online, okay. I think I will do the job serving as a volunteer until my last breath. And because Mr. Zheng says that just do it when the things are right. And thank you very much, Zhang Yixiong. And right here, I'm very grateful to be here. And especially at the moment that we are invited by teacher Meiyun. And actually, we have been waiting for over a year to come here, okay, like 15 months.
In 1996, after I was certified by Master Chen, in the old days when Master Chen is expanding the Dharma teachings, yes, we had the opportunity to record the Master Chen's teaching word to word by writing. So 1996, on June 16, when Master Chen and her followers are on the bus to visit the poor, to take care of the poor, and they were stuck in the creek. The bus was stuck in the creek bed because of the severe flood. And Master Chen also get down from the bus to push the bus over the creek. And Master Chen also take a picture when her followers are pushing the bus. And that moment, and that because of the picture, the moment was recorded, and we will be able to, for people who did not participate in the event, they could be able to see the event from the picture. So I think that it is very important for Tzu Chi history to be able to retain the all the important moments in the Tzu Chi. So taking picture can we can retain the footstep and record all the beautiful story in the world. And every day we Dharma Dodun gave us the opportunity, and we are able to we are able to depict a story, a touching story from image pictures or from Jingshi aphorism. And any one of you have received our sharings through the cell phone? We share our team from our team. Sister Xu Shuhui, she had a dialysis for over 20 years. She had kidney diseases, that's why she needed dialysis. But although she was very ill, but she still, while she is having dialysis, she would watch the Dawei TV and Master Zheng's teaching, and she would, after she got back home, she would work on the documentary. And Sister Chen Shumin had surgery and also her husband had a surgery too. So both of them had a surgery and injury in their arm. They both still continue working on the documentary work to retain and to record the touching footstep of Tzu Chi volunteers. And there's a young volunteer who is on our team, and he is and another person is Ling Hui. She is very talented. She not only do the word editing, she also is very good at the word editing, and she her thoughts are very clear, and she's very detail oriented. And in Changhua of Taiwan, we have many volunteers who work as the writers for our to record the life, the farming and cultivating life in Jingsi abode. My husband, he is here too with me, and he heard my husband heard teacher Meiyun ask brother Liang Han that whether we are willing to record the farming and cultivating life in Jingsi abode. And my husband thinks that it's very meaningful, so that he participated in this very meaningful activity to document the life in Jingsi abode. Master Zheng shared with us that encourage us, we need to take notes and recording every day what you hear, what you learn from Tzu Chi, and what you learn from your role model. We need to write down and take notes, and it would be a touching experience for ourselves and volunteer in the future to learn. And Master Zheng encouraged us to recruit more documentary volunteers. Let's not forget the moment in the history. Let's not forget a role model in Tzu Chi history. And let's record touching stories that we are able to encounter, and that spread this touching story for the whole world to learn the beautiful moment in human history. We have the opportunity. The senior volunteer who gave me the opportunity that my daughter and son-in-law, they had their children to study in the Tzu Chi school, kindergarten. So because they're in the kindergarten, they have to adopt a vegetarian diet, and so they were touched by their children taking vegetarian diet, so they became vegetarian too. And I was very touched that my daughter and my son-in-law, they both because of their children they become Tzu Chi volunteer too. So it is a very it will create a more loving feelings in the family if we all of us are learning the Dharma teachings and know how to treat each other with love and care. I feel very fortunate that my family become Tzu Chi volunteer.
亲爱的慈济家人们，大家好。
Dear Dharma Master Chen and dear Dharma families, good morning and thank you. I have this. It's my honor to have this opportunity to share with all of you my Tzu Chi experience. I want to share with you that my name is Zhang Yongtong. I was well treated and I was deeply loved by Tzu Chi families. I learned. I work as a documentary volunteer, and I felt I grew in spiritually in with the team documentary team. In our documentary team, your volunteer have very various backgrounds. Some of them are housewives, some of them are just some of them are doctors, and some of them our volunteers. They they have a day job, but at night they work for a documentary. In their spare time, they work as a documentary volunteer. Although we have various backgrounds, but we all learn together and help each other to record touching moments in Tzu Chi activity. And because of the documentary team, we are able to learn not only the technique, but also how to communicate with well with each other, and also how to communicate with the video, the camcorder. And we have to learn how to communicate very well with the camcorder. We will be able to record the best videos in the event. We learned from our experience, and I seize all the opportunities that I am able to operate on the camcorder, and I also have to recruit other volunteers to work as a team. And before the event, we need to learn the environment, and we need to place all the wiring and set up the camcorders. Some of our volunteers need to take time off from their work to do Tzu Chi work as a volunteer, and some of our volunteers who are ill but they still take their time to work as a volunteer, because all of us learned so much from our Dharma master's teaching. Like Brother Dawei, he say, I have to I want to be here because I'm so happy to be here. I learned so much. And Brother Dawei always prepare breakfast for us. And Sister Shusi, it gave us a tremendous love, always take care of us like a mother. So our team is just like a big family. It's like true siblings, and we have parents who take good care of us. It's like a warm family. It's even warmer. I feel it. Our documentary team is even warmer than my own family. So I feel very it's honored to be able to work with the whole team. And we need to learn from the experience to put together video and the subtitles and also the and also put together and so to present the best quality of the video to record the record touching stories in Qi world. And we also support a documentary. We not only do our own documentary work in Changhua, we also support Yunling team. And we also work on setting up the standard and procedure to for all the documentary volunteers, so when they come, they are new to the team, they know what the procedure to follow, and they know the steps each they have to if they follow step by step.
And let's take a look at the video. And this is Lugang, Changhua. This is a culture town and located at Jinshihou in Changhua. And we have been cultivating the culture, delivering the beauty, and letting people know the humanitarian beauty of Tzu Chi and forming blessings all together. This is a wonderful place there. And if we go through the corridor, then we will be finding and searching a very fresh memory since 2001, since the first seed of Qiran began there as a first volunteer. This is a grand lesson that can benefit people doing good deeds and form harmony in the world. This is a preach from Master Zheng. Never forget about that person, that year, and your very first aspiration in mind. And this is a school roll passing down to Jinshi disciples, in which it says the records and the memory and of course the Dharma that has to be passed on generations after generations. In every corner, nostalgia corner, and behind every picture has its own story. And maybe this is a loving hand in the community, and maybe this is a care recipient in every corner of Changhua. And it is a very, very heartwarming record in our chronology in Changhua. This is a humanitarian promotion, and this is a very, very best of children's education. And this is a lifelong learning through all the painting, all the works, and we witness not only the beauty, but also the humanitarian culture there. In the Jinshi aphorism, it says, if we purify ourselves, and we can also purify others, right? You and I are the seed of purification, so we can bring hope and beauty to every corner of our society. And let's make the great love all around the world. And Changhua Jingsi Hou is a very heartwarming home for everybody. We purify people's hearts, and we want everyone know about education and be a cultivated and educated person. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. So I'm so grateful that we can have this team from Changhua, and they take a lot of pictures and they make a lot of videos and they write a lot, but they don't speak as much. But we have to, remind you, Jinsi aphorism. If you talk much, think about whether they are useful, and if you speak less, and maybe you do more. I think, remember this, right? If we do things as a team, then we can just complete all the tasks, right? And I think this is a wonderful team. And we have a Peeling Huang saying that this is a wonderful documentation team from Changhua. And it records Gao Zhaoliang's stories. This is wonderful. And we have Zhan Dawei. This is so great. And we also have the Liang Square Balance, which is reverse. This is a wonderful publication that purifies everyone's heart, right? And we have Yu, okay, in
那我们是在2011年的时候呢，进入了屏东监狱关怀。那刚开始的时候呢，我觉得一个人的力量还不够，所以呢，我呢赶快就找了我们社区的蔡美惠师姐来。因为蔡美惠师姐呢，在我的心目中呢，是应该是上人的心目中的好人才。对，所以我们一起配合到监狱关怀的时候呢，你看蔡美惠师姐，她不是美丽，她像一个大姐，她像一个大姐。而且呢，言谈举止都威仪风度啊，都很有觉有德啊，所以呢，讲起话来呢是口条很好的。他呢又开始在讲话的时候，所有的那个上课的同学们呢，都觉得他像姐姐。他也像妈妈一样的温柔，所以我呢特别邀请他来一起配合监狱关怀这一堂课。还有呢，另外一个，因为我们有了监狱关怀，后来就有屏东的那个屏东少管所啊，少管所是。学生大部分是国中生，所以我就觉得说，我们慈济呢有一本手抄本的近思语，这个近思语呢，它旁边就有一句的配合那个近思语的英语，那我就想说，我们那个慈济呢有没有这个人才？刚好呢，邱丽燕师姐在哪里？邱丽燕师姐呢，她呢有一天就跟我讲了，云彩吗？我现在受证为委员的，我可以做什么？我就问他说，那您的专长是什么？他说我是补习班的英语老师。我说好，那后来呢，我就想说， 我应该呢
I'm
就
the
配合这个
certified
手抄本的
volunteer. What
近
can I
似
do
语的
now?
那个英语
I asked her,
来
what's
请他
your
作为我们的指
treasure?
导老师。
What's your
但是呢，
strength? And she
我不
said
知道
she's the English
他的教
teacher.
学程度，所以我呢就1个月请他把我当做
Therefore,
学生啊，然
I
后
invite
从
her
最基本的
to
英
be
语
the
呢来
teacher
教我，
for
从他的教
things
学
of
的
written English.
方法还有态度呢，我相信他的，所以我们把他
So
也
we
是
spent
来
1
请过
month
来做我们
and
相信
asked
的力
her
量的
to
团
teach
队
me
啊。
as a
那至于
student
呢，有一个比
so
手
I
语
can
的
understand her
廖
teaching
金生师
skills
兄
and
呢，
her
他说
attitude.
他是被
After
蔡美
that,
惠师姐
I
骗过来
trust
的，
her
怎么骗呢？我
and
不
I
知道
believe
啊。那
she'll be
现
the
在呢，就
capital
请蔡美惠师
in
姐
our team.
来说明。
好，
His fourth brother, Zhen Liao, who often said that Sister Meihui tricked him into joining us. And now let's welcome Sister Meihui.
大家听到我声音哈？好，大家好。因为时间的关系哈，我们的吴医师要赶车子，所以我要很尽速的赶快分享我们接下来的东西哈。来，首先说，廖金生师兄说他是被我骗来的，原因为什么？因为那时候呢，一开始监狱关怀是由我跟文彩师姐啊，但是呢，因为要屏东监狱入境这样的因缘呢，所以我们必须呢要增加人文真善美，然后也必须要增加手语团队。虽然我个人是手语的种子，可是我心里想，可是我如果去对这些男性的受刑人呢来做精藏演绎，他们一定会觉得说，师姐那个是你们女生在玩的东西，不是我们男生玩的，所以我心里在想，
Even I was the trainer of sign language.
师兄，那我们
Even they are all males. Before they would say, Sister, there's something you females do.
我就把他邀请进来。那进来之后呢，就成为我
I
相信力量的
thought to myself that I must ask helpful brother to come and teach them.
那我们
And
相信力
brother
量团
Jin
队
Shen
这
Liao
样子的一路
happened
走
to
来，我
be
想可能大家在
in
我
the
们
team
的
of sign
大爱台
language.
的一些媒
So I
体或影
invited
片
him to
都可
join the
以看得
team.
到，我们目前有多少受赠的
Therefore,
那个
it
词汇
was
哈。但
not
是
a
我想，我
sin.
今天要把我的重点哈放在呢，
Our
就是
team,
今
the
天
power
的
of
主题。
belief,
那想要分享的是一人在监，十
I
人在赌。
believe
可
that
能大家会觉得说啊，为什么一个人在
you
监狱，
may
那
see
会有10
from
个人
Thai
聚在一起
TV
赌博吗？
and
其
see
实
how
不是，
many
是因为
certified
最初讲这句
volunteers
话
in
的
our
人，因为
team.
他有一点台
And
湾
the
国语，
topic we
所
are
以他
to
讲了什么？
share
一
today
人在
is
监呐，熟
one
人
in
在赌啦。
prison,
好啊，所以呢，其实不是，
10
字应该
are
正确是叫做10
catering.
人在赌
Sounds
啦。这
horrible,
个画面没有哈，那没关
but
系，改一下哈。来，
actually
10
it's
人
not
在
true.
赌是
It's
改成
just
10人
because
在
of the
赌路。
pronunciation and the
那首
accent.
先我们先来看这张照
It
片，
should be
在
like
远镜头的那一
one
端，大
in
家有没有看到
one
一
is
个
in
身影？
person and 10 are on the
那是
way
一
to
个阿
support
嬷的身
their
影。
loved
我
ones.
特别去跟这
So
个阿
it's not
嬷做互
gender.
动。我骑着摩托车，我去追她，我问她说：“阿
So
嬷，
let's take a
你
look
怎么
at
会
this
在这里？”
picture.
然后她就比着屏东监
If
狱，
you look at the
她就说
picture, there's
她
one
讲
in
国语哈，
the
因为她讲台语，我
far
用翻译成国
distance.
语。她说：“哈，因为我来
And
看
I
我儿
was
子啦，就这样
I
语
was
带
riding a
哽咽哈。”
motorcycle
我说：“你儿子
and
在哪里？”
I
她
approached
说：“我
her,
儿子在那边
asked
呐。”
her why
我
you
说：“
are
是
here.
哦，那你儿子为什么会在这边？天下父母心，
And
错
she
的都是
said,
别人的孩子。”所以她说：“
I came to see
我的
my
小孩就
son.
被朋友骗啊，然后被朋友
Where's
害
your
啊，
son?
好，然后就说着说着一直哭。
He's
那我就
there.
跟这个妈妈说：“妈妈，
Why your
你
son
不
is
要
in
哭。”
Pingtung
我说：“你要笑，因为呢，
prison?”
你要笑，你的
And
孩
she
子
said,
才
oh,
会有福。”
because of
大
his
家可以去
friends,
想象
like
吗？
all
一个
parents
表
in the
情，
world, always
脸上
defend
要重复
their
2
children.
个，一
And
张
she
脸
then
要重复
cried.
2个表情，
I
又
told
哭
her,
又笑，
don't
会是什么样
cry.
子哈？那这
You
个妈妈
should
就跟我说：“
beg
我要笑
to
哦，
bring
我
more
要笑哈。”
blessings
我
to
说：“是
your
妈妈，你
son.
要笑，这样
Can
你的
you
孩子才
imagine
会有
that
福。”
she's crying and laughing at that moment. And the granny said, I should laugh. I replied, yes, bring braces to you, your son. And she didn't wear shoes because she put them in her basket. And she don't have pocket for shoes. She has to send money to her son. And I told her to put on her shoes to avoid punctual wounds on foot. So her son won't worry about her. Then she put on her shoes. So this distance from Pingtung prison to the Lindou Sports Park, it takes about 10 minutes for us, but probably 30 minutes for this month. So one is in prison. Actually, many parents are busy and the travel and busy for the ones. So one day when we are home, we saw this granny. She's fell and rested in this first room. Probably suffered heat stroke. So it worried us that how could she walk to the outside and take us home. So brother Zhongyuan called a taxi to take her home. The fare was $250 NT, and the driver only charged 200. He said he would pay 50. And it's really a good effect. There's another story. Do you have any idea about Zhong Liao? It's in Nantou, and it's about like 200 kilometers from Nantou to Pingtung prison. And one whole day, the father on motorcycle and stopped at the gate of the prison, and his feet suddenly became weak when he got off the motorcycle. Unfortunately, Brother Zhongyuan helped him immediately. He asked why he came here. He said, I'm to see my son. And from Zhongliao by motorcycle. So he asked that father if he didn't sleep. And he said, oh, yes, I did. I went to bed at 7 in the evening and got up at midnight to prepare food. So he took out a bag of hot food from the storage on the motorcycle seat. And so he brought this hot food to see his son. Yeah, the story is really touched. So actually, parents traveled endlessly to come to see their son, their children, and our team care about the ones without his patients. And this granny on the picture is around 100 years. She came in 2016 in Pingtung. It took about 1 or 2 hours by driving from our branch to home. And we continuously visit her in these 2-3 years. So we also assist the prisons to fulfill their wishes, back see their parents. So that's what we have to share today. Even like one is in prison, not only the prison's parents, but also like our team, also on the way to care for them. And thank you.
那我们4月情跟福田主题月的时候，就会
sorry that we are running out of time, and such stories like from the team, the power of strength is that admired by Mr. Zheng. And this monthly subject is like we have to share stories like the team who care for the teammates.
叫做什么？姜黄萝卜丝糕，
萝卜丝饼，
超赞的。我们的姜黄，然后萝卜丝饼非常赞。然后我们的两组的
sister also come from Pingtung.
一整盒的，我们只有一个。问题他做，然后他就说。
And here's the teacher speech from also prepared by the team.
5000块而已，妈妈你要加嘛？你儿子老师给你很多钱，可是我们的美琴老师说，这5000块怎么能够放入？当然是援助乌克兰的啊，所以爱心的力量全部呢就是展现在这里。所以等结束的时候呢，我们会跟大家讲，即便是1块也软在心里，好不好？所以情跟福田主题月在这个部分4月份推出的，
teachers saying that the cost, like the $5,000 are all donated for the different refugees.
谢谢。好。
So everyone will be sharing this
很多人留言哈，我们还希望呢按赞、转分享，让我们看见了更多温暖的力量。礼拜天我们要追的影片，大家记得哈。那近视的部分呢，尤其现在推出这样的一个建议，我已经看到有人请购了哈。那如果还有包括大家有没有发现我们的爱能量？
Here comes the Jinsi products. You can see the detergents. It's on sale. Yeah, you can buy 10 to get 25% off, and you can see this Jinsi herbal tea. Yeah. And okay, let's take a look the preview for next week. And we're gonna have the sister Jian and Huiling who are in Myanmar and Australia, and they will share with us. Oh, and we invited Dr. Chen from Tzu Chi Hospital, and this is our new Dawei drama, Riding with Life. The outstanding actor and actress, they will come to meet us at our home court next week. And Dr. Chen he will come as well, and he's gonna share his wonderful journey working at hospital for 20 years. Yeah, so next week will be a very wonderful events. So, and April 27th. So I'd like to stay. I'd like to stay with you because you have positive energy, and these are the famous slogans that we have to learn every time. Everybody can influence people. You are very important. Let's say goodbye to everyone and see you next time. Thank you, everyone. See you.
用最快速度，脏话分享者就好，分享者。嘿，其他的在这边排队。吴主任，快点！嘿，东西不要拿，快！我们的口译团队，2楼。